My dear children, have you ever sat quietly and asked yourself, why am I happy? Why am I sad? Why do I suffer and then long for peace? If you look carefully, you will see a whole lifetime drifts within feelings. When the eyes see a beautiful scene, joy arises. When the ears hear words of blame, anger arises. When the body touches thorns, pain arises. When the tongue tastes sweetness, delight arises. And so, one's whole life is carried away by feelings, bound and tied, and one mistakenly thinks, this is me. The Buddha taught, this body-mind is made of 5 aggregates: form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. Among them, the aggregate of feeling, Vedana, is the doorway that brings us the most suffering. Because we cling to feelings, we wander endlessly in samsara. Today, I want to guide you deeply into the secret of the aggregate of feeling so that you may clearly see who is the one reciting the Buddha's name, who is the one meditating. If one is still dragged around by feelings, then one cannot yet reach the pure land of the West nor attain nirvana. Part 1. The aggregate of feeling, the doorway of pleasure and pain. My dear children, in the sutras, the Buddha said, the 5 aggregates are a burden. The being who carries that burden is called a person. To lay down that burden is liberation. Among these 5 aggregates, the one closest and most powerful in controlling us is the aggregate of feeling. Feeling arises when the 6 sense bases, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind, come into contact with the 6 sense objects: form, sound, smell, taste, touch, and thought. This contact immediately gives rise to the 6 consciousnesses, and right there, feelings are born: pleasure, pain, joy, sorrow, like, dislike. For example, the eye sees a flower, delight arises. The ear hears praise, happiness arises. But if it hears blame, sadness, anger, discomfort arises. The tongue tastes delicious food, joy arises. Tastes bitterness, displeasure arises. You see, throughout the day, people are constantly driven by these streams of feeling. The untrained run after them tightly bound. Even beginners on the path often misunderstand, thinking they have mastery, but in truth, they are still subtly ruled by feeling. Have you ever asked yourself, who is the one who is happy? Who is the one who is sad? Who is the one who suffers? Who is the one who rejoices? If you do not see clearly, you assume that this I is the one who feels. But in reality, that I is only the combination of 5 aggregates, with the aggregate of feeling being one very strong component. The Buddha declared, feeling is not me, feeling is not mine, feeling is not myself. Yet most of us cling to it, regard it as self. And so, from the smallest feelings, humans create entire worlds of suffering. Praise, you want to keep. Blame, you want to push away. Sadness, you want to forget. Joy, you want to repeat. Thus, bound within the waves of feeling, we forget to return to the still lake of our true nature. Part 2. Who is reciting the Buddha's name? Who is meditating? My dear children, when entering the path, some choose to recite the Buddha's name, some choose meditation, some choose chanting or mantra. But ask yourself, who is the one reciting the Buddha's name?
Who is the one sitting in meditation? Looking closely, during recitation of the Buddha's name, the mind often splits in two. One part is listening to the sound of the recitation. Another part is evaluating. Today I feel peaceful, or today my mind is restless. That evaluation, ease or unease, is the aggregate of feeling interfering. And if we cling to it, we believe, I am happy when reciting, or I am miserable when meditating. Here lies something very subtle. When surpassing the turbulence of feelings, a practitioner may abide in the mind base, manoindriya. The mind base simply knows, reciting is happening, meditation is happening, without pain, without pleasure. This is a great step, for the mind base is free of feelings' grip. But remember, neither pleasure nor pain is still the knowing of the mind base, not yet the absolute knowing of true nature. Because even there, a faint shadow of a knower and a known remains. Only by going beyond the mind base can one touch the unlearned wisdom, trivusu, the absolute knowing, where there is no subject, no object, no self, no other, no pleasure, no pain. Part 3. The mind base, clear knowing without discrimination, yet still subtle. My dear children, we have seen that when the 6 senses contact the 6 objects, feelings arise. All those feelings are gathered into the aggregate of feeling. People mistake those feelings for themselves. But with practice in mindfulness, gradually you realize feelings are only passing guests, not truly real. At that moment, a deeper knowing appears, the mind base. The mind base is unlike feeling. Feeling always carries the flavor of pain or pleasure, joy or sorrow, like or dislike. It simply knows. It knows the eye is seeing, but neither happy nor sad. It knows the ear is hearing, but neither loves nor hates. It knows the body is touching, but neither suffers nor delights. It knows the mind is thinking, but makes no judgments of right or wrong, gain or loss. This is a tremendous step forward, for living in the mind base, one is no longer dragged by the aggregate of feeling. The storms of sensation no longer shake one's mind. Yet take care, the mind base still contains a very subtle trace, the sense of a knower and a known. There still exists subject and object, though faint, hard to detect. Thus, the mind base is not yet the final goal. It is like a clear mirror reflecting all, but still there is a mirror and an image. The Buddha taught that knowing, though non-discriminatory, is still not ultimate. Only by transcending even that knowing can one touch the unlearned wisdom,